It's mess up here. July 27th, 2019, 1:19 p.m. I've had a very eventful month. A lot of account hackings, device failures, interruption of electronics, as I've talked before. I tried to outreach to the FBI. The FBI does nothing unless they have a real hard case of some sorts. It has to be specific, but they have nothing to do with account hacking or electronic interference. Referred me to the FCC, and I tried to tell them the story on top to see if they couldn't give any extra help. And I feel that I've had a little bit of influence where I was up there back on June 26th or 27th, and I did an hour-long video while also having electronic problems. An alarm went off at their front door. I was sitting outside the front door of the FBI office, Columbus, Ohio here, and there's an alarm that started going off. What kind of asinine shit was that, if that's what it is? Anyways, there's an individual that walked up as I was filming. I did take his face out of the photo, or out of the camera view. Now I wish I didn't. One of the perpetrators, they started calling out all kinds of belittling names from inside the office itself, trying to play a mind game. To start out with, I do believe my house is still tapped. Haven't been able to come up with the money to do a bug detection or have a professional sweep. But with the stuff that's happened, not only just the account hacking, July 2nd all the way to July 4th, my Twitter account was hacked, accessed by supposedly somebody in Morocco, which is West Northern Africa, but they're not African. I'm not going to say they're Islamic. What would you call them? I'm not exactly sure how to put that, but foreignized, that type of situation. The actual location comes back as the Prince of Morocco's property, which is 16 and a half years old, I guess. Apparently it may have been spoofed, basically. A spoofed IP, which sucks because you'd think Twitter might have picked up on that. And I contacted Twitter, and they just gave me a spiel of, change your password, stuff like that. There's a second account that was connected to Twitter, which is called ByGo Live. It's a live streaming platform. You can watch streamers or you can stream yourself. I had been streaming and was getting kicked off from my streams. With that being said, finally I was locked out of my ByGo Live account, and then somebody deleted the account intentionally. It took me a week and a half to get the account back. I'm still affected by it. Still can't reset the password just yet, which I've been trying to talk to ByGo Live about that. They never responded back yet, so I'm going to make a new report. But anyhow, to get into the other stuff, July 4th also had some things during the night of the 4th of July. Neighbors talking trash, talking about Al-Qaeda, this, that, had their kids talking about Al-Qaeda. I don't know if I have the video from that from the cell phone, but the camera proof has a microphone for in front of the house. I was hoping on picking that up, or at least showing where that was at. I did wait off to get the video. I was waiting to get the video and the videos from that night to show what I'm talking about and what happens. I was figuring, because I'm being bothered about the things that I'm doing. Communally, inside the house, outside the house, just a massive psychological kind of ops situation. Hearing voices inside the house, instructions, threat, and intimidation. They're utilizing high-tech equipment, utilizing verbalization, not just voice to skull. I'm not going to call it voice to skull. It's a little bit different than that, almost like an LRAD situation, a narrow spectrum type of verbalization, to where I can hear a voice that sounds real, but nobody's standing there. I've had witnesses in the past that's been in this house, including animals, but human witnesses, that they hear voices. They're not schizo, they don't have health problems, never heard voices before like that. Especially when it's almost like as if it's literally in the same room, not like outside the house, like somebody standing right next to you and instructing you to do something. These guys are not here for law enforcement, even though they keep enforcing their law enforcement, their government. They have a right to do this shit, all the rest of the stuff. electronic. As soon as I was told by and got information about electronic warrants, they just escalated with more electronical problems, and over the past month, I've had multitudes of devices fail, including the DVR security footage that I was talking about, video footage of the July 4th, besides my cam recording itself, me being polite, not doing it up front in their face. 5 days later, the DVR fails out, and the video footage is being formatted right in front of my face. Now, I might have mixed up and accidentally clicked the button myself to format it, but even still, it was wanting to format the drive. The video footage was no longer valid. So, somebody tampering, you ain't gonna do shit to us, being threatened. They're corrupted in with law enforcement, Columbus, Ohio, utilizing sabotage situations, such as setups, persecution, all kinds of other things. Anyhow, I just wanted to do a quick video of how many, all devices, period. On top of insinuation of legal actions, law enforcement, sabotage situation, what are you going to do about it? Communal, it's just a mass amount of stuff. And these guys have done this for over 20 years plus. But law enforcement has been popped in the past, and what I mean popped, busted. They have been legally, criminally charged. I don't have the paperwork for that. It was picked up by the state. Where they was misconducted, mishappenings, or participating with community crime, allowing somebody to be attacked, not just physically, socially, allowing mob shit going on. I was on the phone and it was corrected about organized crime. That's business related stuff, and when you look into it, I made a video earlier, that's what the definition of organized crime has to do with business and fraud, business fraud. Or money laundering, I guess, racketeering, or utilizing a business, an actual company, a business to do that. But in terminology, a lot of people hear organized crime, they associate it with mafia, grouping type of situation, of that type of mob-styled shit. Mafia. But it's not just Italian mob, even though that's included, all kinds. I was explained with DEA power, back in the past, DEA intelligence and internet lookup. The DEA profiled it that way, a multi-organizational situation where you got two different type of enemies working together to target myself, utilizing me as a PowerPoint in the community, just like, and utilizing it for systematical sabotage, just like the county and county officials. Everybody in the last 20 years has pointed the finger back here to Columbus, Ohio. I've left, I've been stalked, I've left, somebody's always trying to make intervention with the rights of censorship and trying to control whatever it's being. What I say is a fraudulent setup of mental health. Have you not helped, and have they not helped, and have they not done the extent of any other state except for do harm here? And it has to be understood. If you're investigating me, then you can understand what's going on elsewhere. Not that you have to represent it. It's not a public service. But anyways, getting back over to this FBI situation, I feel that it was interconnected with my SOP and me standing up there doing video while these guys we are law enforcement, while gangbanging, doing drugs, talking Al-Qaeda, doing whatever the frick we want to, and stalking across the United States, profiting. And not just pocket-wise, money-wise, but intentionally, like, socialistically. You ain't nothing but a piece of shit. You a bitch. You a pussy. Being called names. We rule. My people are of power. We control the United States. It was busted in Tucson, Arizona, 2002, and I'm not sure why Columbus won't pick it up, except for the truth of that Columbus was pointed out of having law enforcement help, governmental help out here that was being investigated as fraud, misconduct, and corruption, period. Allowing these people, sabotaging my independency, trying to enforce that my family has the rights to control me. I finally summed that up 8 years ago in one of their county facilities that I was wrongfully probated in. I'm an independent for myself. Nobody has the rights to control. Nobody has censorship, guardianship, my family, mother, father, nobody. They can't be called upon completely or at all. But it was might as well pitted at all to intervene, socially control, lifely control anything about myself. They have done nothing but try to sabotage basically punching themselves in the eye and then making it out that somebody's done something wrong to them. Sabotage and all mental works itself, and just like somebody else at the mental health facility here. The psychology, Twin Valley Mental Health, 8 years ago. None of the law enforcement around can pick up on this is happening, didn't report none of it, but they can profile you. There's something very, very, very wrong with that. That shouldn't be happening. There's a major situation with that. With that being said, these guys just doing whatever they want, sabotaging, intellectually challenged, abuse, everything else. And what you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do? I was told at Twin Valley Mental Health, a county official, that's the way I see it, represents the county in the capacity of law, authority, and enforcement, that it is life-threatening to the point I can protect my life with life-taking situations with them. Gun protection, take them out if I had to in a certain type of situation, without making it a threatening, incapacitated mental health situation. Mental health fraud and all the rest. But now, hey, I'm incapacitated. A victim, an assault victim, especially in a harsh situation, is incapacitated, and they're trying to utilize, hey, incapacitation gives us legal rights to do whatever the fuck we want to you. And who you fucking gonna tell, because that's the way our system is. On top of that, loophole type of shit. That, no, really, that's what the government states that we got a right to do to you, and that's what we're gonna do. It would take a mass amount of power to defeat their authority and their corruption, while allowing the shit to happen. Like I said, associated, if not membershiped, with organized crime. Homosexual organized crime, homosexual mobbing, and a lot of this was discussed in New York. A lot of the people that are doing this have organized themselves under homosexual statute. You abide by us and respect. Okay, the only respect I'm going to give at the moment is I left and you stalked me. You traveled more than a neighborhood, and it doesn't take any more than that. You traveled across the United States. You're not in here trying to produce a safe situation for yourself, saying I'm endangering you and you're the one following me. Trying to utilize United States law any which way they can to take away my life rights, which they already done, incapacitate, make sick, which I'm very sick, without proof from a doctor. They're covering shit up with a neuromodulator is what I'm going to say now. I used to call it the deep brain stimulator. There's no paperwork for that. Trying to utilize it. If you try to tell on it, we'll make it out that you're schizophrenic. What you going to do now, bitch? All I need, and sorry about the lingo, I need somebody to help back me to a point. But hey, as soon as I reach out, oh, you're giving us the access rights to control your life. You asked for it. You did this in 2008. There was a website that I did, but it was not public to the point that 900 billion people would know it. Nobody should have known it, unless you was stalking me to get to that information. I didn't go nowhere, I didn't associate, and I didn't hand the address out and trying to make it out knowingly that it was 100% me. You would have to have been, which I already proved. I found cameras hidden in the place that I was at, watching what I was doing. So you would only had to have been connected behind that camera and then utilized it to socialize with, at which point followed out to New York City and what I had said back then in a depressed mode. And hey, you was depressed, you need to go get help. You need to go get help. Utilizing psychological torture techniques, psychological assault, intimidation, emotional assault, emotional harassment, intimidation, and all of this stuff was talked out of Twin Valley here. But hey, they wanted to go to the police, but they understood I can't contact the police because so many damn problems has happened that there's internal corruption happening. I need to get help externally. Why didn't I leave? The question, well, then you're incapacitated, need to solve your own life problems. But hey, how can law enforcement come in and threaten with pink slips just because it's a social value game? You look mentally retarded, you have lazy eye, we're just going to fuck with you. And the rest of these people have a right to say so. That's what we're going to tell you. We're law, you don't talk back to us. It came down to the point of me being assaulted. I've already called in about the assaults. Can I physically self-defend myself against a punk-ass officer? Yes. As long as they become violent, the way that you're saying, fuck yeah. They'll get in mass-ass trouble, even if they try to file charges on you, and it's sorted out. They're going to go down shit creek, and you're going to be let free. There's situations where there's fucking illegal restraint, cops pulling people over. I've been watching videos. $41,000. Dude was in handcuffs for about 15, 20 minutes is what I say. Right here in Columbus, or not in Columbus, Ohio, but here in Ohio itself, 2 black individuals within the past, I would say, month, was awarded $151,000 due to corrupted fucking cop tactics, being restrained against their will. They can get $151,000. I've been raped literally, physically, by the fucking police right here locally, 333 West Town Street, without proof. What you gonna do, bitch? That's another thing. People don't know what happened. What you gonna do? We can threaten you all day and they've not even perceptualized what's going on till I talk to a psychiatrist. And on top, their psychological rights and authority better match the system of what trained them to be doing their damn jobs, and it's not. I have mayors, I have people trying to enforce community mental health complaints. Hey, he's mentally healthy, we want him removed. We want to play whatever kind of fucking games we can. This system allowed blacks, with the intimidation of black mafia, to walk into their mental health facility southeast 7 years ago roughly, and threaten, intimidate, and all the rest. Hey, they got a right to do this. I find out partially that either they don't have a full right. The partial rights wouldn't consist with trying to help me out. You're trying to help, but you're going to allow fucking intimidation in your facility while utilizing the power and strength, intellect, if not physically enforcing mental health law. Hey, we got a right to do wellness check, whatever we want to. Tell you that we don't agree with your wellness, and we're going to intervene with, and always threatening intervention systematically, which was also discussed at Twenty Valley Mental Health, which is also can be considered, once found criminal, systematical assault, where somebody illegally either reports something, does systematically something wrong to somebody else just to have them arrested, for them to be restrained, their rights and their freedom and liberties to be taken away, while also threatening and intimidating. It can grow and grow and grow and grow. Anyhow, calling the FCC. The FCC has relayed me over to somebody else and said more than likely they'll send somebody out with the equipment to test things, understand what's going on. I had in the past, even 5 years ago, a home security system that had a security breach. It shouldn't be. It's almost like a government, what I was told by the company, like a government classified type of device. Nobody should be able to interfere with that. If they are, they're utilizing hardcore tactics that would make it completely directed. Nobody else was in the community, in the whole city. What's the statistics? Has anybody reported this else? No. Not this severe, and it hasn't happened to anybody else. They were supposedly forwarding a system to the FCC, whatnot, but they never contacted me back. There's somebody in here systematically government authorized, with power and control, utilizing that power to mess me up, and has messed me up. I know something to the fact now of what is called a neuromodulator, and guarantee 1,000,000,000%, if understood. I go in for the right test. I've already had x-rays. I had the damn radiologist that was working the machine tell me somebody told them to cover up the tracks of the implants that I have. That's schizophrenic. Hey, we have a right to force against you. That's not okay to talk about. I called New York City and told them I know the date. I already went to the hospital. They don't have a fucking complete record. Even the hospital said that it was invalid, misconducted information. It's bad in the system. Wrongful, don't even know how it worked out and getting there. But I know the date. I was intoxicated and operated on. I was given different types of either anesthesia or muscle relaxants and whatnot. I called the anesthesia board, I called the medical board and all that shit, and that's been years ago. I couldn't get back out there to talk and discuss about it while somebody's playing statute of limitations, medical statute of limitations at 2.5 years, you don't have a case. But they still told me, we still want to talk about it because, hey, that doctor and the people involved can still be doing danger to other people. Even if you can't criminally charge them, you can help out in criminally charging them in futuristic cases. But at the same time, here goes, with the information you gave us, yes, something severely, if with proof and without, just for knowledge, that is illegal as hell, as what I explained. Being intoxicated, blacked out, drunk, and somebody taking advantage of the incapacitation to operate or even administrate the wrong shit. and not record it on paper, but at the same time, doesn't matter. The whole situation, the first needle injection, the first ideal of doing anything, of taking advantage of an incapacitated patient, can be a federal charge against that doctor. Felony and all the rest of the bullshit. That's the way I'm going to put it. These guys making sound effects outside the house, eavesdropping while I'm doing videos. Sometimes it's not picked up by audio. Guarantee if I do another sonar dish, is what I call it, an eavesdropping dish back afterward, it'll pick up the reverberation. There's investigators in New York City. Says I need an investigator that has the technology to do this, and they'll bust their asses. They already know they're doing it. I need financial help. I need all this stuff, but I got no place to go. I have no ability to work a job. I have been physically sick for so long, they don't know what's going wrong. I've actually had bacterial infections. I've had all kinds of different relations. Why the law enforcement that's supposedly investigating, profiling, or understanding shit, are they not understanding my rights of traveling from one state to another, getting their shit straight? Blue gang bitch is what I've understood and learned. There is law enforcement gangsta activity happening. And it intentionally, hey, we're the law, you don't talk to us that way. And they can go fuck themselves. You know why? It's been proven time and time again. Everywhere that I go, if I stand up strong enough, especially with somebody else, witnesses and everything else, they get their asses flattened out. So, I'm not a sociable person. They've called me mentally retarded. I've been incapacitated to the point of basically a mentally retarded status. I'm trying to get x-rays and of brain damage, MRIs, special MRIs. That costs money. That costs a shitload of money. I was told by a technician, the FBI told me I had to go to a technician to hire one myself to get the evidence. They wanted like $20,000 to start out with for the stuff that I'm saying that's happening. The FCC did help out a little bit this time. They couldn't take the report because they had to forward it, and I have to go to Cybercrime and Attack Bureau of fucking the whatever it was here in Ohio to report the situation, but they told me what could happen for them to detect the interferences that are happening. And they did say it's understood that inside the house, that's fully understood, but you have the extra that is outside the house. You're saying they're stalking, all kinds of other stuff. I neglected to call them guys within the last 2 days. I want to record the phone call. I want to see if there's any type of connection before I call them, persuasion that I don't have a right to make contact with them, so I'm being given a law enforcement attitude that I'm mishandling an affair, a personal, adult, independent, American affair wrongfully. Petty shit. You don't call in just because you want to. You don't call in unless you have proof. How am I supposed to get proof without help? And that's one of the things that I did say. But all the petty shit. Hey, you don't have the rights to stand. You know you're wanted. I've walked in, I've had cops, and everybody under the sun tell me, there's nothing we can do for you. You're not wanted. You can't turn yourself in because I don't have nothing to hold you for. There's you don't understand the system. I've been incapacitated intentionally under abuse, not to understand system, intellectually, intelligently. My intelligence has been interfered and completely obliterated, stripping and trying to tell me they're stripping me of my rights of life. The neuro implant, frying my brain out, incapacitating, in which I understood in New York City, somebody explaining it's incapacitating, taking away your abilities of like even cognitive functioning. And that's just one thing to be said. It's a multitude of things. A person needs cognitive functioning to function right. Anyways, this isn't the first time of implants. All kinds of shit from Colorado Springs, non-paperwork shit. It was pulled out when I was having a wisdom tooth pulled out in Indianapolis in 2005, and my health boosted. My abilities to think and capacitate completely came back, woof, after 3 years of problems. These guys in here, prove it. I need witnesses to help me out. I need the government to help out. Unless, of course, you're playing, I'll cover my blue gang bitch buddy's fucking ass. And at which point that's corruption, and I have to find help to prove that corruption. It has been proven in the past, but I need witnesses. I have no friends. I have no capacity to do friends at the moment. And one of the things that was explained, I used to live, and it still is, a drug-filled, riddled community. And part of the problem of somebody reporting me is I have no friends. I'm not trying. I'm too intellectual to make friends. I'm too messed up to make friends. And I told the system straight ass out. The people ridiculing also ridicule what kind of friends I have, who I connect. They have that situation of social valuement. If I don't meet their par, it's not okay. I go out and meet Schmo Joe. Everybody's a fucking crackhead around, so that's the reason why I don't go out and meet people. And I told the system that, and they agreed. Never mind, somebody's intentionally wrongfully doing shit. Not explaining shit right, trying to take and systematically assault, take advantage of the system, and whatever works that screws you up is what they want, is what was said. But yes, they understand that, hey, I can't go out and walk. I mean, what am I going to do? Go meet a drug addict and become one my fucking self? Your community statistics for criminalization by the police. The corrupted ass police in here snobbing. You look cross-eyed and mentally retarded me. I don't like you. I'm going to force that power of authority onto you. I'm going to utilize my personal ideal discretions, my personal thought towards you. Call you, make you feel like a piece of shit, and you don't talk back to me. You blue gang bitch piece of crap. After even being raped, and the community running it. They're a drug-associated community. Hey, didn't want me around because supposedly I caused trouble. I'm not wanted. Your family's not wanted. You're a bunch of pieces of shit. You're this, you're that. We lived in other states, come back, and automatically something harassing, threatening, and targeting. My family, though, has also been found out organized with the situation, which is toxic family members and all that shit. Trying to get away from them. Like somebody says, why don't you get away? What does interstate stalking mean? Stalking. Followed. Being followed. Somebody trying to take censorship. He's not allowed to be independent. My family owns the rights to utilize family law. And they was told back 8 years ago, no. Somebody is still allowing gay, homosexual, rapists, child, fucking pedophiles to interfere with me. Just because they're gay, trying to say I'm giving them a problem, it's not okay because I don't like them because they're gay. I was already talking to mental health. Nobody should be forcing against me because that's the reason why I made the decision. And that's not the full reason, but part of it, yes. Also, they're all associated with homosexual organized crime is the way I put it. Homosexual mobbing. Homosexual mobster mafia. Organized intelligence of homosexual related situation leading into fraud, crime, and corruption, intentional sabotage, and targeting another individual no different than a gang. So with that being said, the main point of this, within the last month, complete obliteration, tons of electronics, evidence, and data. And as soon as that July 4th situation, the individual that stalked me to New York City was one of the individuals that was seen, tried to assault me even 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Doesn't matter. Continuous. My family owns your family. I will fuck you up. I'll sabotage your shit. I'll utilize all my resources. My girlfriend's law enforcement. I've been trained law enforcement. We're gang related on top. We've been conspiratoriating with drug dealing. All the rest of the bullshit. Friday night parties, over snorting heroin, smoking reefer, drinking fucking massive amount of alcohol. Intentionally utilizing it as force of power. You know our associations, you better keep your mouth shut and your eyes closed. I'm done. We need evidence. Law enforcement, they're butt buddies. We need evidence or else that's schizo. You ain't got a right to say shit. You need to keep your mouth shut. Like I said, for 20 years now, everybody's pointed the finger back here to Columbus, Ohio as being the perpetrators, the culprits, and the associations, at least a part of the origination of where the problems are coming from. And started solving that in other states. The only fucking place that it ain't solved here is Columbus, Ohio. I called the gang crime unit multitudes of times over multitudes of years. One time I didn't walk in when I had full blown, the lady being, hey, you can get help, that is wrong. I called back a year and a half later after somebody trying to persuade the system, and I was treated like fucking trash. Told that I was a schizophrenic and didn't know what I was talking about. I have no case. Just to go ahead and hush hush. Don't give nobody else a fucking problem. Don't conspire to the situation of understanding there's gang members in here being threatened and intimidation. They don't help with building evidence. I have to provide that myself, and if I can't provide it, there's nothing going on. They can't do nothing. Less than 6 months, within the last 6 months, the same lady that's been in the gang crime unit division was on TV giving everybody else the nice spill. And I think that's the one that I first dealt with, and somebody swapped phone calls somewhere along the line of transferring and impersonated the lady trying to either tell me off. It doesn't matter. That's some nasty shit and always going on. But anyways, on TV, and exactly of what I'm talking, and the evidential factors that can be built for myself would be outright proven to a T of what they're saying on TV. And this is now public TV. But now it's a Franklin County and a Columbus, Ohio pride thing that they don't want their dignity, pride, and respect destroyed, when I'm saying it needs to be burnt to the fucking ground. Wasted. Every last fund that's coming from the government, every last thing that they get, just like anybody else, and misconducted, corruptly utilized to pocket the money, the time, the power from this place needs to go to hell. They've allowed too much rape, insinuation. We know what happened, but there's no fucking cause. There is no defense. There is no help. There is no protection that's went on. You're too mental to be handling life, so we're going to give you a stay of life. After we know that being beaten in the head with a baseball bat, being fucked up all over the place and all the rest, and hey, also on top, we allowed that shit to happen. We was right around the corner. That's what you get. That's what you deserve. You're mentally retarded. Nobody wants you around. Leave. So, with your psychological systems, everything, the whole system of protection, the rights to stand, utilizing law itself, statutes, legislation, all that. If I was mentally retarded, all this help to how integrate mental health into the community. There is no integration. It's a power control. I own you. I tell you what to do. A lot of communities involved with it. Guaranteeing what I explained now is a story of past law enforcement from even 1970s. We'll call him the name Johnson. This is an example. Officer Johnson graduates to being practically police chief, been on the force, has kids. Johnson Jr., he influences, gets him in the same corrupted shit that Mr. Senior has been involved with. Assaults, drug dealing, everything under the sun. Complete city corruption. Johnson Jr. has been trained and he has a kid now. Johnson Jr. is involved in the same thing with the power of my granddaddy and my daddy. Now he has a fucking bigger mouth to run. And this is a true story, except for the name itself to a point. It's just an example, but still a true story of understanding. Now I'm being attacked. I've been attacked for over the last 4 months for calling out in videos, doing videos, of calling them blue gang bitches. You can disrespect me, I can't disrespect you. I can't look into your situation. I better not. I better keep my eyes shut, my mouth fucking shut. Hush, hush. But you can do everything under the sun that they want to me. Complete human rights violation, abuse. What I was told at Twin Valley Mental Health that represents the county, it's a form of brutality, police brutality, even though it's not physical, which is also being called, quit being a bitch then. You wasn't physically harmed. That's pussy, you little pussy. Psychological brutality. So, I've had people that had authority and understand us back me, understand it. They understand I can't completely always talk plain, straight, and right, because I've been assaulted, I've been damaged. It needs to be proven. They couldn't do nothing for me. They had to forward it to law enforcement. And I asked them, okay, that's fine. I'd definitely do it. But it'll be local law enforcement. What kind of hurtful, fucked up shit is that? I just talked till I was blue in the face about local law enforcement, the corruption and everything else, and that's their only option, is to forward it to the enemy, basically, and they agreed with it. It's a jack deal. I should have left, but how can I leave when these guys are utilizing? Yes, I can understand they're trying to investigate and they're utilizing fraudulently loopholes, and it's been talked about and gloated and laughed about way in the past, too many different situations, but no matter what, we're making money off this. I'll sit on my fucking ass and act like I'm profiling and make an extra $10 an hour. Fucking all kinds of other type of fraudulent ass shit that, if caught, is corruption, misconduction, anything else under the sun. Put it this way, it was found out in Colorado Springs. It's called joyriding in a county vehicle. The police car was owned by the county, something similar to it. It's called joyriding. They can criminally charge and did criminally charge the officer with. He was misutilizing the vehicle he was issued to do his own personal business, roll around, laugh, intimidate people, and all the rest. He had other charges that come against him, and one of them was just that. Joyriding in a police cruiser, in a county-owned vehicle. Misutilizing it. It sucks, but I do also want found out. I don't care if they understood or not. You're sitting there taking an order from somebody else that's telling you wrong. You're making money from it, but yet you're also enforcing with it, even though it's wrong. Everything under the sun here in Columbus, Ohio needs to be understood, including the intelligent, organized, intelligent connections. Frauding the United States government. Whatever they can do. This shit, and I know people that's talked about it since I was a child. Mafia type of situations, associated mafia, knowing mafia, or the people are in the mob and been talked about that they are, but without just mob. Complete citywide connections, city engineers, people, the Johnson and Johnson and Johnson story leading into all their interconnected networking. Criminal networking, no different than mobbing, I guess. Organized crime is the way I put it. Being spit upon because of my intelligence, because I want to act superly intelligent, even though I do have that a little bit of super intelligence from the past that has went incompetent, that has went incapacitated due to assaults, force, pressure, and everything else, much less bodily sickness. And the hospitals, there's this fucking doctor poisoning people. I live 4 blocks from that hospital. I ran into that doctor being at that hospital. I could help you with your problem. He was killing people, overdosing them because he felt, supposedly, this is only reported though, hasn't been understood fully, but only reported by the media. Mount Carmel Hospital. Multitudes of different mishaps in different various hospitals here in Columbus, much less elsewhere, but to the average weight of everywhere else, Columbus is completely the shithole, the anal fuckhole of it all. But anyways, poisoning people to take them out of their misery. People that were terminally ill, or even some that just made complaints. But they can help me with my terminal illness of not understanding I don't have no life left, no quality of life. I've been physically sick and somebody's interfering with it and there's no hope of getting out of it. You can help me by killing me. This has been present that they'll do this, and I have been fucked up elsewhere and non-reported, or even if it's reported, never had an outcome of what's going on. Somebody with mass amount of power interfering, paperwork coming up missing, evidential base, all the rest. But being given the wrong medication, being medicated when they shouldn't have, all kinds of different things. Anyways, so I'm posting this video out looking for help, and I don't want, well, you screwed yourself by asking, so they got these rights, that. I'll tell you what, the people that came against me, how the fuck you gonna allow them to interstate stalk from one state to another? If that's the case, I can pick anybody in the United States, find something about them, and fucking bug them everywhere they go. Even if I push them to the point, fuck it, they'll move, and I follow them. Hey, it's okay. You allowed it to happen right in your fucking face as a government. I was told in Washington, D.C. by people I trust, or at least has the intellect power, senators, a bunch of people just standing around. Hey, it may have been impersonators. The point is, it's not legally and completely on paper or whatnot. It's just Being around somebody you know that should understand the system, saying the United States victimization, the United States didn't protect you, they didn't uphold to what the United States says it upholds to. Somebody should be able to figure that out. While somebody else is in here belittling, it doesn't matter. That's bullshit. You're mentally retarded. We had a right to do all this shit, which would be consistent if somebody was normal, violating their rights and all the rest, but you don't have a right. You don't have no rights. Type of situation. Anyways, that amount of power, somebody needs to get their asses out of their head, or their head out of their ass. But hey, they're not going to do that. They don't want to take the disrespect. They wouldn't even want to pay up. I can watch people go through the same shit that I did and make $41,000 in 15 minutes. Dude posted the check, the paperwork, and everything else behind his situation. I went through that situation multitudes of times, never made a drop of dime money. I had a representable case in Florida where a cop pulled a gun pinpoint at my head while I'm cuffed in the back of the fucking police cruiser. I didn't get nothing out of that except for the judge understood shit. I made an internal complaint. And they started doing all kinds of shit, and they lessened some of my criminal charges because he wrote them out wrong. I still had to represent my innocence because somebody else frauded the system, misconducted, almost potentially still taking my life away. If it didn't work out right, I'd be locked up for probably life. But either way, no matter what it is, just like they're doing these days, the DNA test for murderers, letting them go after spending 20, 30 years in prison, and then finding the evidence behind misconduction even back in the day, and awarding these people millions of dollars. I need money back. Everybody that's met me that understands my situation, they feel that I should be compensated massively. I've missed 20 years worth of work, and even worse, as it grows, it got worse and worse. So different situations. Seeing what is average pay if I had an average job for 20 years worth of work. Let's even just quickly do $10,000 to $15,000 a year. I was making $15,000. Take 10,000 times 10 is 100. That's at least 200,000. But what's happened to me is a whole lot harsher than a lot of people think. But I can't explain all the stories, and by the time I explain it, I'm at fault, or I don't recollect it right because something's wrong with me, and they can't medically understand what it is. While it's being mouthed off, even though there's presence in the hospital, we got you, bitch. We done drilled you in the forehead. You have a neuromodulator, and we can press a button at any time to control you. Don't talk back, being scolded. I was told by a psychologist at the county representable place here, Twin Valley Mental Health, it's no different than being belted with a belt, the verbalization that they're doing to you. And it does have an effect, and somebody should be able to investigate that and criminally charge somebody with that, and then give you the ability to produce a victimizational right that you're a victim, to be able to not only go get help, seek help, but also push back anybody trying to ridicule or disrespect you because you've been victimized, and or that you're not adequate to their social value. Yes, it's sad to say you've been alterated because somebody else enforcing their own social value has attacked you so hard you've lost your ability to have anything. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and press stop on this video. A massive kind of Mayday situation. Target of unlawfulacts.com. Not only all the gang stalking everybody talks about, voice to skull, implants, microwaves, everything under the sun. We're talking about, if that's the case, like my computer's not working, completely burnt out, DVR being formatted, accounts hacked, and everything else. This is coming out to being real proof. When it comes out and I get the evidence and all the stuff that does come out of everything else, I'm going to post to Target of Unlawful Acts, YouTube, targetofunlawfulacts.com. And what they say is, if you don't want to have somebody pick on you, don't post anything to the internet that you wouldn't want only yourself to know, or even your mother type of situation. And if you feel that your mother or your family's bad, don't post anything to the internet. Well, it needs to be posted is the way I feel. It gives me a little bit of protection one way and a complete vulnerability the other. And that protection is producing that I'm having a problem. Hey, if you're going to copycat what I'm saying, you're going to threaten, intimidate, go ahead and try this one, that I'm being attacked massively. All the lifeful, intimidating, life-threatening harm that I've been in, And I want to see how you're frauding the system, becoming a sissy blue gang bitch related fucker, utilizing all the shit in the background of how you can get away with murder. How you can get away with what you're doing. While they try to apply it to me, you get special rights and you're specially treated, and we don't like that either. You know what I'm thinking? You've done the same thing. You're getting special rights and all the rest. It's time for me to reverse the same thing. You reverse psychology and plan all these tactics, reverse it back on those who are doing it, and go ahead and reverse the same tactics. What are you going to do? Call the cops? I can't call the cops or else it's snitching. But you can call the cops, right? You can be involved lawfully no matter which way it is. While there's cops involved, haha, we know how this works. It's a guarantee. I was raped in front of the cops. I've been raped multitudes of occasions. Male on male rape, including, though, on top, female on male rape. Being held down against my will and allowing a female to seduce. But the thing is, sometimes it comes out as transgender. There's multitudes of situations. Law enforcement involved with it. Not only watching, there's too many incidences. Go prove it and we'll mark you off as psychotic. The United States government will mark you off as psychotic. You'll be disgraced to the point, which looks like what's happened because I've already done this in the past. You'll be disgraced and deteriorated to the point you won't even be able to breathe. I'm done. Pressing stop on this video, like I've said in multitudes of almost every video that I've had since I started recording 8 years ago due to electronic jamming. Videos ending themselves prior to me actually ending the video, intentional by electronic interference jamming. Why they laugh. We ended that shit. You ain't talking shit. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't gonna tell nobody. But law enforcement's been sitting right there. Got something to say? Ha ha. You want to play a power play game. I've been assaulted and misunderstood the stories I explained, even though I said them in this video. Military. I was 15 and a half years old, being threatened by United States, somebody of militarized personnel, organizing their own kind of terror cell before terrorism was even a thing. 1995, 96, 97. You ain't shit, you little cross-eyed bitch. Sending in people employed by the military to get the thrill of value, respect, all kinds of shit. My man's better than you. He's gonna flirt with her and you get away from her. He's going to flirt with the socialism that's around him. You don't bother it. We're better than you. They're 18 and over, employed by the military. I had part of it investigated. Kinda hard not to know the person by name, but them enforcing that they know me better than I know them. They profiled me to attack me. We know everything about you, bitch. We're military. Army, Fort Carson, Air Force, Peterson Air Force Base, United States Air Force Academy. 007, you little girly bitch. Bad shit, people. Real bad shit. Oh, we'll get the local gangs involved. We'll orchestrate basically like a Black Ops, Black Cell type of situation. And fuck you over with our intelligence and militarized situations. Power, force, authority, and belittle you that you're never going to become nothing. We don't want you to get the fuck out of America. You're a mental retard. You would think the community would have picked up on that. You know, the everything's fine community. I was turned away, which finally the police got involved, turned away with food pantries when I was poor. They lock the door as I walk up. They black out their windows. They change their sign as if the place doesn't even exist. Religiously utilizing religion on top, which is religious like assault out there. Police caught on to that. Walked in, told them they'd shut them the fuck down the next time their door's locked and I walk up to it. That was the end of it. Shit started rolling, but when it started rolling, those people got pissed. The next thing you know, I'm being lively threatened, harmed, physically harmed, sabotaged, or being made out that I'm a drunkard addict, which I was a part drunkard. I started cleaning that up, And if you're trying to help a drunkard out, would you try to keep them addicted to the alcohol? Would you influence the addiction? Would you influence, because you're highly educated and trained, there's psychologists and all kinds of different types of people knowing how to addict basically somebody else? Would you try to force addiction and then tell somebody they're worthless because they have the addiction? You can break them. All you have to do is hand them $1. All you have to do is give them a smell of what they want. Or utilize mind torts, mind psychology, and all the rest. And I bet you break. I thought you're trying to build strength, not break the person. Shouldn't be in a bet situation. That was under investigation too, but it's hard to understand how to investigate somebody trying to corruptly, like a gang trying to sell its crack to multitudes and keep people addicted to it, utilizing techniques and bullshit to keep them addicted. It was supposedly hard to intellectually investigate for law enforcement, even though they're the ones that produced the stories even back in the 90s of how this shit's being forced to be an addict. Even though I'm not a drug addict, I was on alcohol a whole lot, and then I started cleaning up, and then all of a sudden, that's not you. Oh, are you mentally ill? You changing your personality. We don't want you around if you don't drink, whatever it be. But utilizing addiction and studying it to the point of trying to cause somebody to be an addict so they could take advantage of the situation. So my point was with that, dragging and rambling, my point with that is, supposedly you see somebody saying they're helping somebody and you know they're victimizing them. You know that person's taking advantage of it. What do? And especially when a lot of people, even in Colorado Springs, when it was happening, you couldn't turn to the police because they was involved. More corruption. You couldn't turn to a certain amount of authority people because they did nothing. Later on in return was found out being the truth. Including like internal affairs. Being busted at throwing away reports, telling people they'd be arrested for trying to file reports, telling people they're psychotic for trying to file a report. All of my story and if it's all true, other people went up against the system. It was posted in the newspaper and everything else. It came out to being the truth. Anyways, I'm ending this video. TOA, target of unlawfulacts.com, YouTube, Twitter, all that. Ain't a great site. A lot of it's personal, but I do have some stuff up there myself for stalking, and I'm trying to utilize that, but I've become really bad off to where I'm forgetting things and all that. I've explained it to a doctor. Oh, we don't have a reason why. Maybe it's just psychiatric. You think it's psychiatric assault? Oh, I don't have proof of an assault, so it's still psychiatric. Oh, you can take my life away? You can threaten me with systematical? The same thing I'm telling you is going on. Systematical assault, systematical abuse. Of, hey, I'm not doing so well because all of a sudden I just collapse, or I'm not able to do shit because of something that's unknown. You can't detect the unknown, so hey, well, might as well take control of it. Intervene. You misutilize and systematically abuse authority. Anyways, ending this video. Peace.